All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're exploring something that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but believe me, it's not. We're talking about a very real and very new threat: how artificial intelligence is creating a powerful new kind of political blackmail, and what that might mean for democracy itself.
So, I want you to just think about this for a second. What if an algorithm didn't just know what you like to buy, but it knew your deepest, most private secrets? Now imagine that power wasn't being used to just sell you something, but to control a political leader, and through them, to control an entire country. That's the unsettling reality we're going to unpack today.
And what makes this so incredibly urgent is right here in this quote. AI has pushed its way into areas we used to think were, well, safe from this kind of tech manipulation. Things like politics and how we're governed. This isn't some future concept anymore. The tech is here, it's now, and it's already reshaping power in ways we're only just beginning to understand.
Okay, so first things first, let's dig into how the very nature of power is changing. We're stepping into a completely new era, one where the old rules of influence are being totally rewritten by artificial intelligence. Think about how power used to work, right? It was based on things you could see, things you could trace: big money networks, legal systems, media companies. It was definitely powerful, but it usually left a trail, a paper trail, a money trail. But today, AI brings something totally new to the table: algorithmic power. This works in the shadows. It's a kind of secret coercion that finds leverage by digging through data. And the scary part? It leaves no obvious fingerprints. It's power without a trace. So, what's the fuel for this new kind of power? Well, the answer is something that we all create every single minute of every day: our personal data. Let's pop the hood and look at the engine that turns all that data into a tool for control. This whole machine is built on a concept called surveillance capitalism. And make no mistake, it's the economic system we're all living in right now. It's where our personal data is constantly being gathered up and turned into a product. That data is the raw material that fuels the biggest tech companies, sure, but it's also the fuel for this new form of political power. And everybody is a source, even the most powerful people on the planet. So how does it actually work? Well, it's basically a four-step pipeline. Step one, it starts with this massive, pervasive data collection from your entire digital life. Then step two, AI algorithms get to work, sifting through it all, finding tiny patterns a person could never spot. From there, step three, it builds an incredibly intimate profile of you, one that reveals not just your habits, but your psychology, your biases. And then the final, crucial step, the AI pinpoints the exact vulnerabilities, the exact weaknesses that can be used for blackmail. And this is the result of what some people call the datafication of our lives. Every single email you send, every search you make, every post you like on social media, it all becomes a potential piece of leverage. Think of each action like a single thread. It seems pretty meaningless on its own, but an AI can take all those threads and weave them together into a detailed, intricate tapestry of your life, a tapestry that can then be used against you. Okay, so now we know how the data is collected and profiled. The obvious next question is, how does it get weaponized? This is where the threat really escalates, from just finding existing dirt to actually creating it from scratch. Traditional blackmail, it relied on compromise. That's the old school method of digging up real dirt on someone. But AI introduces this terrifying new possibility: fabricated reality. Now, bad actors don't have to find compromising material. They can just make it. Using deepfakes, they can generate hyper-realistic video or audio of someone saying or doing something they never, ever did. All of a sudden, seeing is no longer believing. And the toolbox for this new kind of warfare is incredibly sophisticated. It's got predictive profiling to guess a target's next move or their weak spots. It's got those deepfakes we just talked about. It has subtle algorithmic manipulation to quietly shape public opinion. And it even uses networks of cyber mercenaries to deliver the threats, which adds a bunch of layers of deniability.
Now, what's really crucial to understand is that this power isn't spread out. It's concentrated. It's held in the hands of just a few giant tech companies, creating these oligopolies of tech power. And these massive companies can then work with, or be forced to work with, governments to shape laws or get political favors, which really blurs the lines between corporate power and state power.
So we've seen the how. We see the mechanism. Now let's zoom out and look at the so what. What are the real-world consequences for our democracy? What's the actual cost to all of us? Well, the most immediate and maybe the most dangerous consequence is what experts call the chilling effect. This is that deep, nagging fear that comes from constant surveillance. It's the knowledge that any mistake you've ever made, any private vulnerability, could be dug up by an algorithm and weaponized. And what does that do? It makes people self-censor. It makes them retreat from public life.
And that leads us to this really sobering question. Just think about it for a minute. What happens to our society when the most capable, the most ethical, the most thoughtful people decide that running for office is just too risky, too dangerous for them, for their families? What kind of leaders does that leave us with?
The cost to democracy is just steep. It's a domino effect. When good people stay away from public office, the whole talent pool gets weaker. That leads to less diversity of thoughts and experience in our leadership. And an environment like that makes it way easier for elections to be manipulated. And when people feel like that's happening, public trust in the whole democratic process just evaporates. Each one of these is a serious blow.
Okay, I know this is a heavy topic. It's a lot. But the situation is absolutely not hopeless. We aren't powerless here. So let's pivot to the most important question of all. How do we fight back? How do we build our defenses? There is a clear path forward for building resilience. Building our defenses means we have to attack this from multiple angles at once. On the ethical front, we need to demand ethics by design. That means baking human oversight and accountability into AI systems from the very beginning. Legally, our laws about blackmail and fraud are old. They need to be updated for the AI era. And institutionally, we have to invest in things like AI forensics to trace these attacks, protect whistleblowers who expose them, and seriously boost our cybersecurity training. And these strategies break down into real concrete actions. We need our politicians to actually understand this stuff. Better AI literacy is a must. We need more transparent and open source AI systems so they can't be so easily abused behind closed doors. Globally, we should be pushing for international cyber peace accords to set some rules of the road. And right here at home, we have to support civil society. That means journalists and watchdog groups so they can keep holding power accountable. And so we're left with this question. The rise of AI-driven blackmail isn't just a technological challenge. It's a test for our society. It forces us to look hard at the vulnerabilities in our systems and maybe in ourselves. Building resilience is going to take new tech, yes, but it's also going to take updated laws and our own engagement as citizens. Whether our democracy is strong enough for the age of AI, well, that really depends on the choices we all decide to make, starting right now. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.